All right. Good morning, everybody. Just let me know if you can hear me okay. Sound is all good. All right. So we'll go ahead and get started. Just get this off. Okay. We can all join palms and repeat after me. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. And keeping the palms joined. All right. And you can put the palms down. So good morning, everybody. Nice to sit with you all. Thanks for being here. I'd like to start with a question just to give some time for people to settle in before we start the meditation, and also an opportunity for you to communicate with each other. So let's see. My question at this moment, how are you doing with your most recent challenges? And I'm not necessarily asking, not that I don't care, of course, but I'm not asking what they are or for lots of details. Just how are you doing with your current or most recent challenge? Um, Odds are you're probably facing some challenge or difficulty in your life. And so it's an opportunity to practice everything we explore through this Buddhist path. So I'll go ahead and type the question in here. If you're new, you'll see a chat box somewhere on your screen, and feel free to respond with as little or as much as you'd like to the question of how are you doing with your most recent challenge. All right. And again, I'm not looking for specifics or details or, anything like that. Just in general, how are you doing with it? There's a teaching I heard years ago that it said that when the Buddha would speak, no matter who was there, people would instantly awaken. And he was so skillful at sharing the Dharma, regardless of individual specific circumstances. And when I first read this teaching, I thought it was really beautiful. And the way I kind of incorporated it into my practice, my life, and my sharing of the Dharma is when I lead meditation or give Dharma talks. And those of you who've sat with me long enough, especially at Temple, know that, once somebody starts into their whole long personal situation, I'll usually cut them off. Not necessarily meaning or trying to be rude, but recognizing that we all have our own difficulties, and to not look at the time or opportunity to go on and on about a long story, but simply using the Dharma, or I should say, using and applying the Dharma in a way that it can really be put into practice regardless of what the situation is. So often we'll hear a teaching and maybe you'll be inclined to say, yeah, but this, or yeah, but that, or yeah, but I have to deal with this, and the reality is all of these teachings, the yeah, but, and the excuses that we make tend to really fall away if you apply the practice and the teachings into your life. So just a little explanation on why I'm really not looking for details. Just how are you doing with your challenges? Knowing that, we all face them. We all have them. So, all right, Maurice, today's a good day. Enjoying the goodness the best I can while it's here, because # impermanence. Yeah, definitely. The impermanent nature of all phenomena, all conditioned phenomena is impermanent, as the Buddha taught. So, the good moods become bad moods, the bad moods become good moods, good days, bad days. We have all of them, and just appreciating each one as it arises is a really great practice. So, Greg, hi, all not fantastic. I'm avoiding really taking them, procrastinating, etc. So, yeah, it's I give you credit for recognizing that you're not doing so well with it, and we all know what avoidance will get you. So good luck with that one. Samir, really good. I found a good virtual support group recently that has been very empowering, strength in numbers. Yeah, definitely. It's one of the things that when we look at trying to find positive situations that have occurred in our lives during these last 15 months, virtual connections has been really important. So finding groups out there is very helpful. Benton, not there, but every day moment is an opportunity to keep trying. Yeah, for sure. We just, we stay patient. We keep practicing. Tom, I'm fortunate to not have any extreme challenges at this time. The daily challenges are going okay. The thought of emptiness helps to remind me life, both good and bad, is what it is. Yeah, definitely. Kind of what I was speaking to earlier, that we will inevitably do our best to kind of label things, and working towards just being with things as they arise, and letting them pass is a difficult but beautiful practice. So Jenna, had a few this week, then realized that if I took my ego out of the equation, the solution was clear. Yeah, the ego, the pride, the sense of self that we are attached to, me, I want, I need. That's where so much of our life is spent. And because we spend so much time thinking we are most important, then anytime anything comes into our little bubble, our little safe place that challenges us or threatens us, kind of that ego really shines through and can cause a lot of suffering for self and others. So working on removing the ego is a really wonderful practice. So, all right, anything else before we start the meditation practice? Anybody wants to share? All right, so with that, we'll go ahead and we'll sit. There's a couple things I'll tell you before we begin. Nothing's going to happen to you. You're not going to float away. You won't have any mystical, magical experiences. The mind that races all day long is not going to shut off. Don't judge your practice, meaning don't ask yourself, is it working or not working? Are you doing it right or wrong? We're just going to sit. We're going to breathe. You'll hear sounds inside the room, sounds outside. This is life. Life is filled with chaos. And the practice of meditation is learning to get quiet and still within all the chaos. So I will guide us as we begin. And posture, you just want to be comfortable. If you're on a cushion, help sitting upright, pushing the stomach forward. Shoulders are relaxed, hands can be on the knees or in the lap, whatever's comfortable. I'll guide us as we begin, and we'll settle into a little bit of silence. Most important, don't expect anything. We're just going to sit and breathe. And starting with the eyes closed if comfortable, or slightly open. Mouth is open or closed. We'll start with taking 3 deep breaths slowly. And eventually, we'll settle into a natural rhythm of the breath. Knowing throughout the practice, you'll hear sounds inside the room, outside. These are not distractions, not disruptions, simply what's happening around us as we sit. Noticing the mind as it wanders, jumping from thought to thought. We'll start with gently guiding the attention, focus to the stomach or chest. Breathing in, feel them rise. Breathing out, they fall. And simply continue this practice, observing sensation of breath. And as the mind wanders, lost in thought, recognize it, release that thought, Return attention, focus to the breath. Where's your mind? Lost in thought. Return to breath. Letting go of expectations. Letting go of judgment. Just sitting. Breathing. Keeping the mind alert, aware of each sound, each thought, each physical sensation. Yet concerned with nothing but sitting, breathing, breathing in, follow breath in, breathing out, follow breath out. And with the body still, rested, and the speech quiet, aware of all sounds, and the mind learning to settle, know what it's like to just sit and breathe. knowing with each breath there's nothing else to do. Nowhere else to go. No one else to be. Everything beautiful, exactly as it is. Sitting, breathing. And once again, taking 3 deep breaths slowly. And as you slowly open the eyes, slowly begin to move. And most important, with the practice of meditation, is to recognize how you feel now, immediately after. Compare this to how you typically feel throughout your day. Recognize the difference, if there is one. Ask yourselves how you'd prefer to feel every day for the rest of your life. And realize however you feel now, if it's quiet, calm, and still, or a busy mind, racing mind, whatever you're sitting with at this moment, has nothing to do with anything I said. It's not from how you sit and hold the hands or cross the legs. It's not from the sounds around us or anything else for that matter. Simply your own mind and your own mind's reaction to an external condition. This is what the Buddha called pratitya samuppada, dependent origination. This is the basis of the Buddha's awakening. The word Buddha simply means awakened. He was a human being, no different than any one of us, who began to understand why he suffered, why he got angry, sad, depressed, stressed, anxious. He began to understand the causal relationship of all phenomena. What that means very simply for all of us, regardless of where you come from or what you believe in or where you think you're going, your whole life is filled with things that happen and you react. More stuff happens, more reactions. That's it. This practice is learning what it's like to respond to something quietly, peacefully, still. For most of us, the way you responded to the last 20 minutes is quite different from how you respond to everything else throughout your day. So all we're working on is closing the gap to where the way you feel now is closer to how you feel always. Just as driven, motivated, productive, successful, whatever that means in your respective lives. But with a mind that's steady, clear, and focused, distracted by nothing, disturbed by no one. This practice is not easy. It's not necessarily fun, but it's free. Sitting, breathing, becoming aware of what you think, what you say, and what you do. That's it. I always try not to complicate this practice. The simple teaching of think good thoughts, speak good words, do good deeds sounds so simple, but really difficult. There's, let me pull it up here. There's a Dogen quote I came across a while back that I really like. Dogen is a great Zen master. He lived from 1200 to 1253, the founder of the Soto Zen school. And he says, there is a simple way to become a Buddha. When you refrain from unwholesome actions, are not attached to birth and death, and are compassionate towards all sentient beings, respectful to seniors and kind to juniors, not excluding or desiring anything, with no designing thoughts or worries, you will be called a Buddha. Do not seek anything else. That's it. So the word Buddha, again, simply means awakened. So to become an awakened one, refrain from unwholesome actions. Do not attach to birth and death. Be compassionate towards all sentient beings, everyone. Respect everybody, those older and those younger. Do not exclude or desire anything. Do not have thoughts of worry. That's it. And we're done. So just do those, like 6 things? I mean, it's less than 10. How hard can that be? So with that, I'll pause. As always, I just prefer to open up to questions. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. There's a chat box somewhere on your screen. Feel free to type in questions on meditation, Buddhist practice. And I'll use the next 15 minutes or so to just respond to questions. So I'll turn it over to you. Thoughts, questions, meditation, Buddhist practice. Cynthia, good morning. I'm loving the second arrow teaching. Please talk about that teaching. It's helping me greatly right now and maybe will help someone else. Love you. Love you too. So the second arrow is, the idea is that when we have something that challenges us or occurs in our life that is difficult, that thing that hits us is like the first arrow. And so something occurs that causes challenges or difficulties. And that's really where it starts. Give me a second. Let me show this. And that first arrow that kind of, stuns us is potentially the only thing that's going on. But from that first arrow, we then add more arrows. So something occurs in our life that's difficult and it maybe causes anger. Then from the anger, we then get sad. And then because we're sad, then you get depressed. Now you're angry, sad, and depressed. Then you become anxious about everything. So now you're angry, you're sad, you're depressed, and you're anxious. And really, it just started out with one thing that caused anger. So if we can just sit with the anger that arises, that first arrow, and see the impermanence and emptiness of that situation, then all the other additional arrows don't come flying at us and don't make things worse. So just look at the first arrow and address just that without allowing the snowball effect to make things so much worse. So hopefully that answers your question, or I guess just more satisfies the idea of sharing it. So yeah, it is an incredibly, I think, helpful teaching as challenges and difficulties arise, as they will. The arrow will always be there, but let's just try to simplify it down to just one arrow. Hope that helps, Cynthia, and continues to help, actually. Benton, how do we manage our monkey brain throughout the day? Yeah, so the idea of monkey brain or monkey mind, for those who aren't aware, is that our mind throughout the day just jumps and jumps and jumps like a monkey jumping from branch to branch to branch. And so you see a monkey swinging in the trees, and they're constantly on the go. And those are our thoughts, just one branch to another, one thought to another. So a couple kind of ideas or thoughts here, Benton. One is really the best way to manage the monkey mind throughout the day is to continue to develop a daily practice of meditation that helps train the mind to stay present, and then it will be less likely to jump throughout the day. But as we're waiting for that practice to really cultivate and help us long term, there's just the kind of short term idea that as my mind is wandering, how can I bring it back to the present moment? And one practice I love up at Deer Park Monastery, which is Thich Nhat Hanh's place up in Escondido, here north in San Diego, North County, is they have a mindfulness bell that goes off periodically throughout the day. And so as the day is occurring, no matter what's going on throughout the day, all of a sudden you're eating, or you're working outside, or you're reading, whatever it is you're doing, and all of a sudden you hear a bell. And when you hear the bell, no matter what you're doing, you stop. You could close your eyes, you take a few deep breaths, and it's a moment to just come back to the present moment. So that's, you can use anything like that, Benton. It's that phone that's probably within, a foot or two from you. You could set an alarm to go off every hour or every 2 hours with a nice little bell sound. And it's an opportunity to just remind you to come back to the present moment. For me, I always wore, I don't have them now, mala beads on my wrist or around my neck. And then the neck ones I would wrap around the wrist. And I wore them as reminders. For me, I was always, my mind would wander and jump, and I would get angry, and I would make a fist and get really upset. And so the mala beads were a trigger, an anchor, kind of like the bell. to just bring me back to the present moment. It was something I could just turn the beads in my hand, and it was a reminder to come back to just present moment breath, and not allow the mind to wander too much. So, there's a couple ideas, a bell, a mala bead, things that just bring you back to here I am sitting and breathing. And as I responded to initially, as you continue to practice meditation, and the longer you do this, the less likely you are to have the mind jump constantly all day long. So, hope that's helpful. Jana, just thinking about your earlier question on challenges, the situations that came up for me last week were just situations, neither good or bad. It was my reactions to them, my second arrow. Yeah, exactly. And that's our entire life. Our entire life is, as I say at the end of every meditation, things happen, we react. More things happen, more reactions. And what I'm saying in that exact moment is, I'm not saying good things happen, so you react positive. I'm not saying bad things happen, so you react negative. What I'm saying is, things happen, we react. More things happen, more reactions. That's your entire life. It's occurring right now as we sit here. I'm speaking, you have a reaction. You have a thought, that thought leads to another action. So reactions, even that word, they kind of go away. And it just becomes a constant stream of actions occurring one after another. And so, for me at least, I start by saying things happen, we react. More things happen, more reactions, meaning we are responding to the external condition, the external stimuli. But the only reason we're responding to it is because it impacts us, it triggers us, it affects us. So we're working on not having these things that occur around us have such an impact on us one way or the other. Just observe, be present with things as they arise. And then, yes, to the second part of your what you shared, the second arrow. The second arrow is really the more we can control that second arrow, or I should say, stop the second arrow from occurring, the more pleasant we will find ourselves throughout the day. So, good thoughts. Other questions? Anything else? We'll probably end a little bit early today anyway, so if anyone has one final question, I can give some thoughts on it. Otherwise, we will wrap up. All right, so I'll go ahead and close on that then. We'll go ahead and join palms. May the benefit of this practice be shared with all beings in all directions. May all be at peace. May all be free from suffering. May any merit gained from this practice be transferred to Duke during his time of rebirth, and to Travis and Candace and Tony and their family who suffers at this time. May they all be at peace and free from suffering. May we all be at peace and free from suffering. right. A few quick announcements before you head out. Thanks all for being here. My name is Jeff. I'm a Dharma bum. We opened up the temple 14 years ago to bring Buddhist practice to those who show up. Those of us who lead, we're not monks or nuns, we're not gurus or masters, we're not teachers, we're not looking for students. We're just practitioners. We do our best to take our understanding of Buddhist teachings and put it into terms that hopefully make sense to those who show up. And that's you. So we appreciate you. Every night we have different classes going on. We have a wonderful recovery community for battling addiction, teenage group, college group, morning meditation Monday through Friday. So there's always something going on. 15 months ago, we closed due to the pandemic. We are getting closer to reopening on some levels, so stay tuned. Hopefully sometime very soon I'll have an announcement for you all. And we will very much look forward to returning to some classes on some level at the temple. But again, nothing final on that yet. So Buddha for You also is still closed. We are now, if you need anything, you can buy it online and pick it up. So we're not, obviously we can still ship, but if you need anything, you can also schedule time to pick up from temple or from Buddha for You. So if you need anything, just go there. Other than that, grateful to be with you all. Please continue to be safe. We are very happy here in San Diego. Numbers are headed in the right direction and things have opened up, but that doesn't mean that the pandemic is over. It's not. And it's still a very precarious time. So let's be safe and wise, wear a mask and do everything you can to help people stay safe. So thank you all for being here. I wish you well, and we'll see you soon.